Hi everyone, Emma here. So I am going to show you how to do Kumihimo bracelet, and specifically this one here. So this was the example that I used. I got this from an Etsy seller in Thailand, and I ordered a bunch of bracelets that she made. These were like, I think what it was is it was my birthday and I decided to just, you know, spend a certain amount at an Etsy store, and just get stuff for myself. And these were about $10 each. So I was really impressed that she could sell them for $10 each, and the shipping was not a lot either. Now, I think the mail in Thailand is pretty inexpensive as well. So it took a while to get here, but super lovely. And there we go. So this is the example. I've had a lot of comments when I wear this during videos. Now this is probably about 2 years old, maybe a bit older. And the reason I mention that is because, sorry, I'm just fixing the screen so I get a white screen to light up stuff. The reason I mention this is you can kind of see they're not I don't know if you would call this tarnished. So this one here is nice and clear, this little bead. Let me enlarge this. But if you look over at some of these, they're starting to get where they're not shiny. I don't know. Let me see if I can polish this with the corner of my mat. Oh, wait, I have a cloth for reading glasses. So let me see. So these ones look a bit tarnished. And again, the reason I mention this is because if you're going to use metal beads, you have to consider that this is going to happen. Because unless you're buying some, even if you buy like a gold plated bead, it's going to tarnish. So you're going to have to do some care with it. So yeah, those ones are gone. They're, I wouldn't even, maybe a polishing cloth that has a bit of polish in it would work. And I might try that off camera and let you know how that goes and maybe do a video about it. But anyway, I love this. I wear it all the time. And even now that it's a bit tarnished, I don't really care. And there's also things you can do to prevent it from tarnishing or degrading. And one of the things I recommend is using the, what is it called? Varnish from Vintage Patina. They come in like a little bottle and it goes a long way. So you just take and brush it on or dab it on and let it dry, and it should protect it. So yeah, there's that. So anyway, like I said, I still wear this, and I wear it with my other leather bracelets, and it looks amazing. You can see it's just really cool. And if you're concerned about the metal, then use beads about that size. And let me see if I can get an idea what size beads these are. So these are 3mm beads. And the ones I'm using I didn't realize. I mean, I could have easily looked at the difference in the size, but I was just so excited that these are the metal beads that Kath sent me recently. So these are 4. So they're not much difference, but you can see a huge difference in these. Amazing. So this is the one that I made. And again, somebody saw this on my desk when I was doing an unboxing and said, "What's that bracelet at such and such a time?" And I apologize. I meant to check your name before I did this video, but it was definitely inspired by her. And so I just put one of these beautiful tiara cast. I wanted to keep the button small. And then I did a bit of weave and then these beads. And then I did a whole bunch of the Kumihimo weave with the cord, folded it over, secured it, and then wrapped it a bit so you can kind of see where it's been wrapped. Then I took one of these slider beads and glued it on top, and I used E6000. So E6000 has some give to it, so it's good for this kind of stuff, and it's permanent. It's not coming off. Like, this thing is not moving. It's solid. So let's go ahead. I'm going to do my best to do a tutorial of this. A couple of things I want to mention ahead of time is I am new to this. I think I maybe have made 6 Kumihimos of the same style. You can see that bead is a bit different color. Anyway, so I'm new at this, but actually sometimes being new at it is good because there's a ton of videos out there, and I find sometimes they gloss through certain things. Like, they'll gloss through the beginning, they'll gloss through the finishing or the middle, because of course, you know, from start to finish, this probably took me 2 hours. You definitely don't want to watch a 2-hour video. So I have certain sections of the bracelet prepared so that we can jump to the next step. So hopefully that works for you. If you have problems, let me know. I'm totally open to, you know, redoing a video or answering your questions and stuff like that. So let's talk. If you have a Kumihimo disc, you can use it. They are awesome. I wouldn't pay any more than, say, $5 for it. So be careful out there. They sell them for like $20 sometimes. It's just ridiculous. And I can't remember where so I think I bought one on Amazon that was, it might have been $10, and then a package of these discs for, I think these were like $12, and I can't, there's like, I want to say 8, but it might be 16 in it. So these you can use, they pop up like that. So you can use to, when you have a bunch of thread coming off here, you can wrap it on these bobbins and then pop it down, and it holds it in place. For this design, I didn't feel I needed it, so we're going to just put that aside. I wanted to show you. The reason I mentioned about the price of this is if you have some spongy stuff like this that you get from like a packing package, or maybe at the dollar store, they have sheets of like the thinner stuff. You can put 2 together and make your own Kumihimo. I did that. I should have brought it out. I still have it. I made my own Kumihimo disc a long time ago, and you just put your whole, I don't really follow the numbers. I think the numbers are more, and it gives you an arrow for direction too. I use, these 2 lines, this cross is basically what I use. But then once your threads are attached, you're supposed to turn in one way, and I have to tell you that this bracelet I actually turned in 2 ways. And it turned out really good. So I don't know if it made it looser, because you can kind of squeeze it a bit, the beads. I don't know if that's the beads. So if you know about that, let me know. So what I did was I started at the 1 position, and I had my 2 strands on either side of the 1. And when I pull down, so the important thing about this is you pull down with your left side and pull up with your right. And if you follow that, you should be good. So I would do that, and then I would turn the other way and do these strands, and then I would turn back to the 1 and do those. And this is what I got. So now I did do another one with a different size bead, and it turned out I did it in a circle. I did find that doing it in a circle actually kept me in place, because I'll tell you, one of these I did back and forth, and I was doing it in front of the TV, and my wife asked me a question. Now I hold it in my hand so I know where I'm at, or I'll pull one strand down so there's 3 at the bottom so I know where I'm at. I didn't know where I was at. I tried to fix it and I couldn't fix it. So I took them off and then I tried to fix it that way. It was impossible. So I just, and of course it's because I don't know enough about them. If you're an expert, you could probably tell where the lines are supposed to go. But starting out, let's start by using this cross in it. So let's go ahead. I'm going to show you how to get it started. So for this bracelet, and I don't know if you can tell this and this here. So this is fake sinew thread, and this is cotton waxed thread that I got on AliExpress, and this is how they come. They're about $5.05 Canadian, so a little cheaper for you guys in the States, and they are 1 millimeter thickness. They're more flat braided, and this I bought like years ago, probably 10 years. I was using these for leather wrap bracelets, and you never run out, like unless you're doing something industrial or hundreds of stuff. Comes in all kinds of colors. So here because I was doing leather wrap bracelets, I have like the white, the different kind of browns. I think I have a black. I did notice they have red and blue and green and stuff like that. So I'm waiting for an order to come of the red and blue. I think I ordered of these guys. So what I've done is I have cut 4 strands. So you can see there's 2 there and 2 there. And I've cut, in the videos that I've watched, they say to cut a meter length. And I found when I got to the end that I was running out. You can kind of see it here. I was running out because I'm using it to create my closure. I was running out, so I ended up like just weaving it in, and it was stressful because your strands. So your knotting is here. Your strand is this long and it has to go across here. So I had little tips of it going across, and it was a nightmare. So my recommendation is cut 1.5 meters for your strands. Then you take your 4 strands and you fold them in half like I've done here. So and then, now this is a little different than the videos. This is my idea. I'm pretty sure other people have tried it. Is I'm going to put a button on right away, and I kind of use it as a weight. This one's a little heavy, so it might work a little better as a weight than some of the teeny tiny ones I used. And you can see it's got a nice big hole. This is a lovely pewter button I ordered from a button shop in Etsy shop in California that I got some incredible buttons from. Actually, you know what? I said pewter. I think it's copper because you can see the copper on the design. So you're going to take your one side of your strands and you're going to weave it through there. And I apologize, there's a lot of talking at the front end. I'd like to get started right away, but you know what? There is a lot of explaining to this. So if you're not into that, and unfortunately you've already gone through it, if you're coming to my videos, just fast forward to the section you want, and if you're concerned, then go back. So I won't be offended at all. I want to create something that everybody's going to get something out of. So I'm just weaving it, those 4 strands. And this wax thread is because it's waxed, it's bendy, so it'll stay in position. But even if it doesn't, just bring your ends and take the other side here and put them together, and then draw your button down. So this part here, I had to tell you, in a lot of videos, if they do use this method, they knot it right there. I am annoyed with that because the whole point of putting your button on before you start your Kumihimo is that you don't have a knot at the end. So you can either put a knot if it's a little too complicated to do it, and you'll understand when I show you. So you're going to take your button and put it in the middle and just hang on to it as best you can. And we've got our one position there, so I'm just going to put my finger there. I'm not taking any particular strand. You can take the strands in order, but you know what? Once you get past the first couple of times, it's going to get in order as you need it. So you might have a little bit of a loose section. So I'm just putting those two in, and take these guys, and we're gonna switch fingers here so that it doesn't pop out. And so follow that line and put your strands on either side of that line. And I did find, this was a new disc, I did find after like doing at least one bracelet, it was easier to put your strands in. Like when they're new, they're super tight. And if you have hand issues like I do, then that is a bit of an issue. So then we're going to do the bottom ones beside that long line and put it in there. And then the other two strands around the 25 mark, like that. So this is what you have. And like I said, it's not going to be a big deal. It will adjust. So now let's start. So the whole thing is left, down, right, up. Okay? So we'll do that a few times. So for this, because of the button, I want to create this. Now, so here's one that I did the knot. And again, like I said, it's annoying why you have a knot when you have this beautiful strand here. Now, I really didn't need that length because these buttons are so small. So if it was just that, it would have gone on anyway. But I did do it longer. So, but this was like the first one that I did of these. So it's a learning process. So let's get started. So we're in the one position. So try to hold your disc in one way. So with your right hand or your left hand, and use that. And I also take my finger and put it on the button, especially at the beginning. So we're going to take it down next to the strand that's where this black line is. And then, so now I'm switching hands because I'm now going right up and put it next to the other strand. So you're always putting it on the outside of whatever strand is there. So let's turn it and do the same to the next one. So left, down, right, up. Left, down. I should have done a different color. Right, up. This is kind of hard to see. I am so sorry. There's a whole lot of preparation to this. So you keep turning and keep going, and you're going to see that as you get this going, you start to get faster. Your hands know where to go, and it makes it a lot easier. Now, some people put a weight on their button or their strand if you don't have a button. And there is a certain part. So here is one of the reasons for the bobbins. You see all this. You want to make sure these are untangled. The reason I didn't use it for this is because we're only doing a little bit here. And I just want to make sure I should have kept my hand on here. I think we're to the next one here. Oh, right here. Sorry. Yeah, so to get this nice and tight, you want to be able to pull on this a bit. But I did find, like that. So I did find that, you know, doing this finger thing, and then if you're tight with your strands, when you move them, so down and up, it gets nice and tight, so you don't have to worry too much. So turn, go down and up. Turn, go down and up. And turn. I'm just taking a look to see how much we have. We don't need a lot at the base. Go up. And down and up. So I'm just going to pull it a bit, and there you can kind of see. Let me see if I can enlarge this. So that's probably all you need. Let's do a few more, I think. And again, took my hands off of this. Okay, so that one went down, that one went up, so we got to turn. Let's do a few more here. And like, don't stress out if you do lose your place. I found, and let me bring this out a bit. I found there's a way to see what position you should be in. Okay, so let's turn this way. So if you look at this, these strands are underneath this strand. So that means that these are the next ones to come down. Okay, so these are the up ones, and you can see this one's up as well. So that is a bit of a hint. Let's see. And actually, I don't have to continue with this, so let's take a look at where it's at. Yeah, this is awesome. There we go. So I would probably leave just that amount. You probably don't need any more than that. So the reason why I'm like, we don't have to continue with this one is I have one all ready to go. Because now we're going to do the beads. So let's put this aside. And so this one used a different button. You can see I put quite a bit of the weave. And for this one, I doubled the cord through the button, but it leaves this little section. It's not really necessary. It was just something I was testing out. So there we go. So let's try and figure out where we're at. So if you remember, this is above. So that means that one was just done. And this is above. So that one was just done. So the cords that are below those strands are the ones next. So that's your position. So let's talk about the beads. So on your strands, you're going to add, I think I added 30 on each of these. Let me, there's 5, 10, 15, 20, yeah, 30. It looks like there's more. I don't know how to count. So string on 30 beads on each strand, and actually now these are bigger beads. These are 4mm. I might suggest doing 35 or 40 on each strand, because I'll tell you, this fits me, and I have a small wrist. I have a under a 6-inch wrist, and this just fits me. So let's So here's the thing with this. If you go to a bigger bead, you're going to need more beads, because the same applies when you're making a bracelet, a strung bracelet. If your bead is bigger, you're going to need more length, because what you're measuring is the inside circumference, and it takes a lot more, like it takes up more space, the bigger beads, so it shortens your length. So there is the one for me. This is using 30, so I would probably do the 40. If you're doing small 3mm, or if you have like you're using 8/0 seed beads, you might stick with the 30. I think the best way to do that is put 30 on, and then do your bracelet, and as you're getting to the end, you can, if it's kind of hanging, you can kind of check with your hand on the size. So as I go along and do more of these, I will definitely give you very specific amounts with different sizes. I'm sure it'll be helpful. And I'm sure there's videos out there too that do that. So let's get started. So again, let's figure out our position. Top lines have been done on this side, so that means we're in these positions. So what I did to just mention is I put a knot on the last bead. You can put a knot at the end of your thread. I found putting the knot on the last bead a little easier to get undone when I was getting done, and like I said, there wasn't enough thread to create the closure that I wanted, so you might want to do that. So let's take our first strand like that, and again I'm going to hold that, and I'm pulling this out, and I'm going to take one bead and let it fall down. Now this is the important part, and this is really a bit tricky at the beginning, is your bead has to be under this cord. Now, even if it's just like that, that should be fine. Just know that if you pull too hard, it will pop over. Not a super duper problem if you've got one or two that are like that. I did find I had them in this, and I was able to actually take my tweezers, and the bead was like stuck in the middle, and I was just able to pull it out, and part of it I just like kind of rolled it in my fingers, and the bead popped to the surface. So just again, this is going to be frustrating when you get started, so hang in there. I should have brought my other bracelets that I made. Yeah, it was really frustrating, but you know what? By the time when I show you how to finish, there's one bracelet that's finished. By the time I got to that one last night, I was like, oh, I so got this. So hang in there. Okay, so you've got that thread. You're gonna put it in that position, and I'm not pulling it super tight at this point because it'll pop the bead. So then I switch fingers, and then take the bottom strand here and go grab my next bead and do the same thing. Make sure it's under the cord like that. So definitely this design with these beads are a little harder to get started at this point, so don't get frustrated. And that's why I'm leaving it a bit loose. Once we get going, it'll be fine. So I've turned my disc to the right, and we're going to grab the next thread, find our beads, and pop one forward and get it to sit under your cord like that. So you can see now we need to tighten the other side. So let's just pull this a bit there and put that in place like that. And take this one here at the bottom, right, find your beads, and pull. There. There, and you can kind of move your threads together a bit, turn it, hang on to everything, and grab your beads. So, and again, this gets easier as the beads go down because there's less cord. So let's pop that in, get it in there, and just put my finger there, and I'm just going to tighten those a bit. So there, like that. Put your finger, grab your bottom strand, and get that bead down under there, and pull this strand and turn. So grab the left top and let one of those beads fall down. Slide it under that cord, that, and you might want to tighten that a bit. And I'm just holding it so it doesn't pop up. That. Grab your next lower right, pop your bead down, and get it under that thread and then hook it under. Turn your cord and grab your right or your left top. Get your bead, next bead on the strand and get it to sit under that cord. So I'm just gonna do that like that. And because I do like loose and then tight, it does move around in the circle. It's not a big deal. It's not going to affect it. So now your right lower, get your next bead and get it down in there under this cord here. And I kind of bring it to the middle and then put it in place like that. And at this point now, your fingers can actually pull the button, so it kind of tightens it a bit. So now we're going to turn, and so we'll do this a few more times. This is top left, bring the next bead down, like that, under the cord, and then I just put my finger so it doesn't pop up, like that. Then lower right cord, find your next bead and let it slide down, get it under that cord, and put it in place, a little tug, turn, then grab your left upper cord, get your next bead on that strand, get it under that cord like that, and tuck it in. Grab your lower right, get the next bead in line, slide it down, and there we go. So there, you can see it starting. Ta-da! So you can see some strands there. You can add more tension, but I just found that it was the more tension you added in this little beginning part, the beads popped out of place. So it's up to you how comfortable you feel. So let's go. So you're going to do this for the length that you want your bracelet. So if you're adding some length like I did here, make sure to incorporate that, as well as pay attention to when you fold over. So you know, my clasp is a little bigger than it probably needs to be, so incorporate that as well, because you know, you don't want to go, this is quite a bit here, this is probably more than an inch and a half maybe, so you got to make sure you incorporate this section here. So let's show you how to finish. So you're going to continue on like that, and then you're going to go ahead and add, just finish with your weaving without the beads. So you'll either get to the end of your beads, or you know, you might need to add a few more on, and then just remember you want to incorporate this like no beads for your clasp. Okay, very important. So let's go to the next. So it's magic, look. So this one I used a different size bead. The previous one was a 4mm. These are, you know what, they're in between a 4 and a 3. They're a little bit bigger than these guys here. They look pretty close, but these beads, you know what, I couldn't tell you where I got them, but I must have ordered them from AliExpress, and they must have come in bags, because I had a bunch of these that I gave away with the grab bags, and I just kept a few for myself. So I couldn't tell you where I got them. So here is this one here. I added a super long thread because this is what I want the class to be. So it's gonna come like this and like this. Again, this is probably a lot bigger than what I need. So it's kind of your decision on what to do. So for the end on this section here, I did put a knot. If I come up with a better way to do this, I will let you know. I do find with this cord, let me grab my flat nose pliers here. With this cord, because it's waxed, you can actually flatten it. So I just take my flat nose and flatten it. You can see it's quite, and the reason I'm doing that is I don't want a whole bunch of bulk at the base. So let's take these guys and see if I can get the long ones through. So you can do this way, or you can, so I added one of these spacer beads. I should mention that. So you can get these on AliExpress. You need like a big hole bead so that it's going to hide the knot once we get down here. So I just slid it on. Let's take our long strands here and get these ones in. And the next strands. I could cut them all the same length, but you see how there's some really short ones. I don't want to. I want to have a long strand that I can weave into here so that it doesn't come apart. So that's why I'm doing it that way, like that. Let's see if we can get this one. Let's see if I can adjust this. These are darker strands. Pull that through. Okay, and then these guys. Get these guys through. And I'm going to pull them down. So you can see the knot might be, I may not need that knot. Let me, let's try. I'm going to pull this up a bit, and I'm going to squeeze this piece a bit so that that knot will get in there. That. See if we can get that. The other bead, the silver one that I used, was actually quite a bit thicker. So yeah, this is, let's get this. Second knot is unnecessary, I think. So hopefully everyone has seen the video on the giveaway Tuesdays and commented with either USA or Canada, wherever you're from, because Canada Post is doing free shipping Tuesday for the month of October, and I need to do the draw. So I had this braided, and it actually doesn't need to be, because this is long enough. So I'm just going to unbraid this, and that way it will fit nicer. Let's put this through. There. So I think what we'll do is just do 2 strands here, like this, just so it doesn't go anywhere. And pull everything tight. Yeah, so if you comment, and I know that it wasn't really clear why you're commenting USA or Canada, and I just wanted to make sure you knew the reason being is they're offering free shipping to the US this year, which they didn't before, and I need to be able to identify which you're from, both US or Canada, so that I can do the draw. And what it is the random comment picker tells you, like, you can use a keyword. So this way I don't have to go individually and put it in a hat and stuff like that. I can just do it with the computer. It's should be a little more fair than just me picking out of a hat. So, and the giveaway is pretty extraordinary, so I'm just squeezing it again. I don't know if this is going to do anything. So let's get this. Make sure it's nice and tight. So try and get everything through and then tie that one piece off. So they are offering 5 kilograms for the package to Canada and 2 kilograms to the States. So I just did up. So this is gonna be each week I'm gonna do a draw. So there's gonna be 4 Americans and 4 Canadians that are gonna get a major haul. So I just did up 8 bags of goodies, and it's not even a kilogram. So I have to take a look at what I have to share with you guys and see if I can get a little more in the bag. Let's get these guys all in here. I actually might not have to. I'm gonna thread one or two of the long ones. I don't trust this to not come undone. So let's do these 2 here, the nice long ones. So I have a collapsible needle. So it's interesting, this, you know, I find that doing the finishing takes a lot longer than I would expect. But I mean, I'm kind of working through this as well, so I'm gonna bring this, see if I can bring this up. Okay, here's my needle. So let's just, I'm gonna weave it in a bit. There. I'm gonna grab some of my rubberized. Yeah, I figured this was not gonna go as easy as I thought. There we go. And yeah, these are getting pretty tight. And using this wax thread, it actually, because they're waxy, they stick. So let's try this one. And this is probably going to be plenty here. There. Just kind of wiggle it in your hands, it'll come through a little better. There. One more, and we're done. So, that through there. There. Take that off. We can cut these now. Like that. And we're going to put our E6000, and then we're going to try and slide that. It probably doesn't need a whole lot because this is super tight anyway. Get my toothpick here to kind of get it all the way around. So it's a E6000. There. I'm just going to put that amount and move it around with my toothpick. Oh, sorry. I get really focused and I forget that I'm out of like frame. Some for right here, just in case there's a thread there. Okay, and let's see if we can slide this down. Oh, perfect. That didn't take any work at all. I'm going to use the opposite end. I see some glue sticking up here. Clean it up a bit, and that's it. And there you go. There's your bracelet. So again, the clasp is a little longer than you might need it. What you could do is do a little weave right here, like stitch it together, but this will stay on no matter what, so you don't have to worry. So there is this bracelet. Pretty awesome. You can put a charm on there if you want. There's the other one, and there's the other one. Ta-da! Thanks for joining me. I hope you found this helpful. Definitely, if you have any requests for videos, if there's a bracelet design that you're interested in and you haven't been able to find the video, let me know, because I have a whole bunch of, like, that's how I get inspired, is I'll see something on Pinterest and I'm like, oh, let me make that, and I'll try and do it. So there you go. Take care, everybody. See you in the next video. Bye.